Hello, everyone. Looking a little rough. This is Carrie from Sharing Creations by Carrie. This is the first video you've seen me. There was reason for that. I have decided that there's so much judgment in the world, and I didn't want to be one of them. We all judge, but this is going to be a long one. So you watch it in multiple parts. You don't have to watch it at all. I'm going to show you a couple of craft projects that have been in my brain, and I need to get them out because I've got like 20 ideas and I got to start emptying my brain. I always wanted to only do this channel for fun. If it made any money, perk, because then I could stick it right back into the channel, more supplies and such, giveaways and whatever else I could possibly come up with along the way, and staying true to it being for pure joy. I was never going to put myself in front of the camera. I have seen so many people who have gone through horrible trials and tribulations of life throwing crap at us right after one after another. And they did testimonials, they shared themselves. And it kind of made me nervous because I am an open book. However, your open book can only be so open because people are mean. And I'm no saint. I've been mean myself. So I thought if I just showed my hands and tried to make my hands look presentable, less hate would happen. I still got some hate, which I got some thick skin, so the hate was kind of whatever. I kind of snickered at it, like, start a channel, see how much courage it takes to do a channel. Mine is a no edited channel. It's you get what you get. I fails and all. You're getting everything from me. You're not gonna get the sweet beginning to the end, 20 minutes max, with all of the bells and whistles. I'm not tech savvy, so that wasn't going to happen anyway. But I absolutely love crafting. I've been crafting for over 30 years, not an expert in any way. Just learn as I go and love to share it. I love to give things away. I love to make things. I love to teach somebody. When I find something, teach them, help them grow. I love to help people grow. I started years ago of being a foster parent, trying to help kids grow. Then I worked at a place for boys, troubled youth, troubled boys. Did that for a few years, and then went into helping disabled adults, trying to help them be a part of our society, as whereas so many years they were stuffed in institutions. And worked at that one job for 12 and a half years until they burned me and almost broke me. And I'd worked with a client. The first few years were tough because it was a tough client I had. But the last almost 10 years, I was with the one woman. And this is where everything started to change for me. And my heart still is grieving. I had been with her through the coronavirus, my crap ton of research on it, trying to protect her, keep her safe. And let me tell you, I followed all the scientists and doctors that everybody labeled crazy. And guess what? They're not crazy. They were telling the truth. You can call me a conspiracy theorist. You can call me whatever you want. I don't care. I did my research. And I'm going to give you a heads up right now. They're planning another one because that was not an accidental virus that escaped a wet lab, wet market, whatever. No. 25 28, we're going to have another round of this garbage that they did to us. So take it as what you want. But God, whether you believe in God or not, God wants me to make sure that you know what's coming and to guard yourself. Don't buy the fear. Protect yourselves and your loved ones without the fear used. Okay, let me get off that. Last summer, my client, she was not doing that great, and neither was my husband. And if you've watched some of my videos, you'll hear me talk about how he started to have health fails, and me trying to get him healthy, and was hitting roadblock after roadblock after roadblock. And we're still hitting roadblocks with him because the medical system is not geared to help people who need help. And that was my view most of my life. Was it sick care, not health care. There's too many of us, so they need to make their cash flow. It's a business. I get it. Sorry, my hair is horrible. This was not what my hair used to look like a couple of weeks ago. I'll get there. So he ended up stage 2 diabetes. Lost a lot of weight. He weighs less than I do. He never did. We've been together 32 years, almost 32 years. And so that's been a super challenge. My client that I worked with, getting hair on my tongue, sorry. She, in a short period of time, got sick. Goodness, dog fur. I have fur babies. Within a 3-month span, mind you, I fought to keep her from vaccines because we didn't really know what was in it. They wouldn't tell you. And my goal was to keep her safe. Sorry. And there's some people who didn't really care to keep her safe. And she ended up with the worst vaccine out of all of them, which they no longer allowed to use. She ended up with stage 4 turbo lung cancer. And within 3 months, she was gone. Her lung was inundated that they stopped counting after 40 of tumors on her lung. I got some beautiful time with her. Absolutely grateful I got to be a part of her life. Enjoyed the ride with her. She was an amazing woman. My heart still breaks that I don't have her, because there's something else. In the meantime, I had to make the choice to cut my mother off. She doesn't seem to understand because she's a narcissist, and she doesn't know what honesty is. And if you know me, honesty is a big deal. Yeah, I may not like what you have to say, but I prefer you to be honest with me. I'm the kind of person who I don't sugarcoat. I'll give it to you straight. I may hurt you when I say it. It's not with ill intent. I've been told I cut people with my tongue. It's not with bad intentions. I don't like dishonesty. And she has lied to me my entire life. And my siblings too. They keep forgiving her. I kept forgiving her. I just couldn't do it anymore. I learned something from the coronavirus, was that life is absolutely too short, regardless. If they're not a benefit to your life to make your life better, and you've tried everything you can, then you have to let go. And I chose to let go. was not an easy decision by any means. And I tell you, to this day, she's still lying. She's still pretending like there's nothing wrong with our relationship. There is no relationship. She didn't even call me. She claimed she did when everything started happening a couple of weeks ago. She's telling people that she talked to me, yet she's leaving out the fact that my brother called, put us on speakerphone to try to force us to talk. But when she tells the story is not the truth. And she doesn't seem to understand that that is not acceptable, healthy relationship. And I just don't have space for people who don't think through their actions towards others. I I just don't. I just can't anymore. Um, I lost my client in October. This job treated it like it was a miscellaneous duties type activity. As you hold someone's hand that you love and consider family, and all they cared about was documentation. Not that we just lost an amazing woman. Not that that I was broken, grief stricken, in so much pain, and couldn't even think 10 minutes ahead. And I've never seen such a group of people so fake in my life. To be in a position where your job is to be caring, loving, nurturing, putting that person above. These people could cry at the drop of a dime. They were actors. But when she passed, they barely shed a tear. One of them was, I swear, if you looked at her sideways, she cried. That woman did not cry. I mean, she cried at me so many times for the stupidest, minute, unnecessary things. She had worked with her for a couple of years shy from what I did. And she was empty. Now, that could have been their grief, but here we're talking, that was October. We're in July. I left. Um, I stopped talking to them the end of October. I just walked away. Not one of them have talked to me since. Not one of them have reached out to say, but claim your friends, your besties. Not heard from her since. They don't even care. That's that's my point. And so I had to leave. And I tried to put my pieces together. I was gonna leave that type of field. I applied at Hobby Lobby. That's how far away I was trying to get away from it because I was so broken. And then my husband had told me that another company was hiring. And I almost did not apply. I'm I'm glad I did. I'm absolutely glad I did because my client I have now, we have so much fun. We've started bonding. They were gonna move me with someone else because of my experience, and I was like, absolutely not. I am building a relationship with her. We are building a bond that that bond will grow to where I can help her grow. So that's where we're headed. This poor girl got to see me have my medical issues, and let me tell you, she is an incredible young lady because she knew exactly what to do. Where I was in a bit of a daze and didn't quite know what I was going to do. I had a couple of incidences that kind of rocked my world. Let me back up for a second. My son moved in with us because he saw me struggling because my husband could no longer work. And he had a month-to-month lease, so he was like, what do you think? And I'm like, yep, I'm okay with that. And so, of course, we had to work out the details because, of course, the relationship's different. He's an adult, and I'm not treating him like a child. I absolutely love the fact that he moved back in. I helped him as much as I could to get him here. He's got his fur baby, so I got my grand fur baby here. So now we have 4 dogs and a cat here. It's interesting. Always have a lot of animals in this house, so not a big deal. He's a little pitty, like pocket pitty. So stinking cute. He rescued him. It's kind of like that's what we do. We don't shop. We don't buy from breeders. We find them. We keep them. So surprisingly, he's not whining right now because usually when I'm in here, he's wanting to be in here with me. So he pooped today. um, so I started my new job in December, and it's a stressful job. I'll say that. There's a lot of training involved. They constantly giving you training, so I was stressed trying to keep up with the training, trying to keep up with different aspects of the job. I knew a lot of it because it kind of transitioned from the job I had before with a lot of the technology and such. But I was also dealing with more medical issues than I was used to. And medical field scares me, which is why I never went into nursing. Which, by the way, nurses, you are some amazing women and men. No one gives them props enough. And I was one of them that didn't give props enough. I got a taste of an incredible group of people. When you meet a nurse who isn't doing a YouTube video of dancing down the hallway, the other ones that are not doing that, thank them. They do not get their just due. EMTs, doctors, the staff in hospitals that clean, that assist each other in a team do not get enough credit. And I swear I will, till my last breath, tell as many people as possible that they are not treated the way they should be. Angels and heroes. That's how I describe them, angels and heroes. I had a couple of medical incidences where it kind of just caught my attention, and I was like, that's weird. But I don't take meds, allergy meds. That's all I did. Not a fan of Big Pharma in any set at all. I hate pills. When I have to give them to my dogs, I actually cringe because I hate pills. Because of what the medical field has showed me. It's about money. It's profit over people. So I wanted nothing to do with it. So if I had a headache, Excedrin was it. Allergy pills and Mucinex. It's all that ever went in my body. I've been in pain most of my life, and I'm not taking pain meds. I'm not taking those. I will live with it. I'll use Epsom salt. I'll use as much natural as I can, but I'm not popping pills. I've seen what pills do to people, make them more lifelong patients. So that was not going to be me. I had a couple of times where I went to go reach for something, and I missed it. And I was like, oh, that's weird. There was one time I was crafting. I went to go grab something. I was like, how did I miss that? I was looking right at it. My perception was off. I'm like, okay, whatever. I don't get time for this. Dismiss it. One time I was cutting grass on the riding mower, went to go reach for the steering wheel, missed. Put my hand on my lap, and I was like, what the heck was that? Reached again, grabbed the steering wheel, no problem. Okay, never mind. One day I was at work and talking to my client, doing book work, and then all of a sudden I felt weird. Went to go reach for the book, and I missed. And I was like, okay, it's happening again. And it's been a stretch of like over a month of the small few times that it happened. They were just like seconds. This one it just kept going and kept going. Sat down, and my girl, she went into asking me what was I feeling. But it was kind of like mini stroke like symptom. Like the left side still had my strength. The left side just wasn't acting right. It wasn't moving the way that it was supposed to. Like I would do a reach for something like this, and I'd reach. The item would be here, but I would be grabbing too soon. So it would be further away than what I thought it was. So she did the whole stroke test on me. She called my bosses, and it lasted like 20 minutes. And then she's like, I think you need to go to the hospital. I'm like, no, the symptoms went away. All I had was a headache and I had high blood pressure, which I never do. I'm a venter, so I don't hold on to stuff. And so she was like, but I'm worried about you. And I'm like, I'm okay. We'll just keep an eye on my blood pressure. No big deal. Well, my blood pressure kept saying high. And then I kind of was like, after the symptoms went away, I was like, called management. I'm like, I'm fine. I'm not leaving, I'm not going to the hospital. We're just, symptoms went away. I'll get it checked out later. Well, I came home. I was going to go to the hospital that day. I was tired. High blood pressure made me tired. And I was just like, not today. I'm going to sleep. I'm tired. I'm done. I asked my son to take me to the hospital. And then I was just like, he was tired because he works a lot of hours too. And I was just like, never mind. I'm going to sleep. I'm tired. And then July 4th came. And my client happened to be on a little mini vacation. And so I was working in another house with another staff, with another individual. And I went to go reach for something. And I didn't feel, I felt overstressed that day. I felt anxiety, which, you know, it, it happens, but it was just kind of like the stress and the anxiety piled up together. And I was like, and the staff that I was working with that day, he was in a really good mood, and I couldn't match his energy that day. And usually I'm right there with you. You hyped up, I'm hyped up. We're having a good time. And it was an off day for the individual. It just, nothing felt right that day. And I went to go reach for my purse and I missed. And I was like, oh no. And I said to the gentleman I was working with, I was like, I don't feel good. And I apparently said it in a way that he knew exactly how much I didn't feel good. And he said, do I need to call an ambulance? And I was like, no, give me a second. I didn't want the ambulance to show up because the individual he was already stressing. And I didn't want that to send him into a mental state that was not good for him. It wasn't enough to where I needed an EMS immediately. At least I didn't think so. And I didn't want to put him through that trauma. So I was like, just give me a minute and I'll figure it out. And so he was trying to make plans with the individual and just moving on the day, and me trying to figure out what I'm going to do. Because he needed to keep the individual's day going. Don't need somebody else hindering it. We're there to help them. We're not there for us to. So I ended up, because I was not the main staff that day, that I could actually leave if I needed to. And I got a hold of my boss and I'm like, I don't feel good. Can I go home? And then I was like, you know what? No, you're not. You're going to the hospital this time. I hate hospitals. I've been to the hospital once. I gave birth to my son. That's the only time. The ER for like a broken finger, stuff like that, car accident. That's the only time I've been to the hospital. By the way, I'm 53 years old. We don't do hospitals. um, And then I text her back, and I went straight to or the hospital, so that she understood that I was not just not wanting to be at work. I needed the money. That's a no-brainer. I'm not calling in. I'm not one of those. I only take time off for vacation, and if I got sick, it was once a year. My vacation time was used for vacation. So I could go 8 months without taking a day off. Not a big deal. So that wasn't, I wanted her to understand that I wasn't going to go home just to take the day off. I only work 30 days a week. They're 12-hour shifts, but they're 3 days a week. Really? Don't need to take a day off. If I want to do something, I'll just plan it in advance. And so I packed up my stuff and I headed to the hospital. And I still didn't quite feel right on the way there. So then I decided, yep, if I have to pull over and call an ambulance so that that individual doesn't see me go in an ambulance, I will. So I drove slow through town. It was a small town, so it's not like I was driving through a big city. And there was plenty of places to pull over. So I finally got to the hospital, went into the ER, filled out the paperwork for what I was there for, and the description was mini-like stroke symptoms. Because it was my left side, it literally felt like I had string tied to my tendons in the vein, and like I was a puppet. Like somebody was pulling the strings on my left side and on my right side. And my perception was completely off again. And I was like, I don't understand what this is. I know it's not a stroke because I still have the strength. I can still squeeze. I can still hold things. The face wasn't dropping. My arms were level. My smile was normal. So it was mini-like stroke. And so they did all those checks on me, blood pressure, checked my sugar levels, did that. And they took me back to the room to do a CAT scan. They did a CAT scan of my brain with contrast and without contrast. Let me tell you, you have to do a contrast one, it's horrible. You literally feel like you're burning from the inside. And yeah, but you also feel like you're peeing yourself too. You're not, but that's what it feels like. And it's intense. And then they put me in one of the rooms, and next to me was a woman who was giving them a hard time. I mean, she was giving it to them. She had all kinds of things going on with her. It's a small town, so it was a small hospital, didn't have an MRI. They wanted both of us to get MRIs on our brains. And she was giving them such a hard time. I had my husband and my son come to the hospital. I wanted my car home because they had said that they were going to ship me to one of the bigger hospitals. I'm like, I don't want to leave my car in the parking lot at the hospital. I want somebody stealing my car. My husband kind of dragged his feet because he's not a big fan of medical either. And we've had not much luck. We're still struggling with his health. We're still not getting answers. But we're going to force the answers because now I know how to do it. And he just wanted me home. Come home and rest. And I was like, and the nurse said, it could take months before you get one test that you need now. Or you let us ship you to one of the other two hospitals. And I looked at my husband and I said, I'm going to the hospital. And he kind of just was like, okay. So my husband and my son left. My son dropped my husband off, went back to work. And I got shipped to one of the main hospitals by EMS, by 3 incredible EMS people. Pretty impressed with them. Never been in an ambulance before, so that was kind of fun. They had me hooked up to, while they were doing the CAT scans, the symptoms kept popping back up. I have a lot of piercings, and when I went to go grab the front and then grab the back to take them off, I could not get my perception of the back of the earring, where there was these 3 sweet girls that work in that hospital, all trying to help me get my earrings off so that they could do the CAT scans. So it kept happening. It would stop, and then it would start back up, which had not happened before. So grateful that I made that decision to go and get checked. They ended up giving me a medication that finally made them stop. Thank God. It turns out that was a seizure. I knew what seizures look like, but we all don't realize, and I sure didn't, how many types of seizures there actually are. And I have had 5 before I understood that that's what they were. That's scary in itself. I had heart monitors on. They had IVs in me. There was things coming off of me, and it was a scary time. And it's still kind of unsettling how everything has happened. But it only got more intense. I didn't have insurance because when I started my job, I was still devastated by the loss of my client. Starting with a new company, my husband's health, my son was moving in, and I'm trying to stay afloat. And I missed the deadline for the insurance that my company offered. I thought I had 90 days. I actually only had 60. And so I missed it. So I had 0 insurance. And so did my husband. And I planned to sign us both up. And when you go to the hospital, they want payment, business. But they did not care that I didn't have insurance. All they cared about was trying to find out what was going on. They sent me to the next hospital. That hospital did not care that I had no insurance. They took what was going on with me so serious, and the team, because I'm going to tell you, team, we're not talking one doctor in the ER and one nurse and one nurse aide. No, an entire team. I saw a doctor every single day, neurosurgeon every single day. Their liaison between the surgeon, wonderful woman. I will never forget her. That woman fought for me as if I was her mother. Would not let me leave that hospital until I got the diagnosis that I needed so that I could get the treatment I need. Incredible woman. Fought. She just, oops, sorry. I love that woman. They started doing CAT scans, MRIs. They hooked me up with an EEG. I got crazy wires all over my head. Side note, the negative, no trip to the hospital is positive. The one part that made me angry was my hair is not normally this short. It's literally at my waistband. How long it was? It was literally way down here. It is now way up here. Gentleman that put those wires in my hair to do the EEG to see if they could catch a seizure entangled my hair in those wires. So when I first got to that hospital and they were taking me off the gurney to put me on one of the beds, the nurse was like, "Wow, your hair is long." I didn't realize how long it was. All one length, all the way to my waistband. He tangled those wires in my hair so bad that I had to chop my hair off because it was a giant nest this big where my hair was so entangled that it looked like a bird made a nest with it. And I spent 2 days with a bottle of conditioner on it, deep conditioner, wrapped with a baggie, and held for 2 days trying to break it down. It would not break down. I had to chop it off. They don't tell you that they're putting a crap ton of glue on your head either. So the girl who took the wires off said, "Oh, I got all the glue off." I still have glue in my hair. We're on week 3 after. I still have glue on my scalp. So if you're doing an EEG, please divide the person's hair up. It's a traumatic experience to begin with. That made it more traumatic for me. Seeing I hadn't cut my hair in 3 years. I intentionally was growing it. So there's the not nice side. The gist was pretty much is that they thought I had cancer, but they were not going to stop until I got a positive test result, so that when I left, I could get treatment. They found a tumor on my lung, really, really small one. Gentleman went in from behind, got a biopsy. It was so small that he struggled to get the tissue that he got. He then was asked to go back in and get more because it was not enough to get a conclusive answer. It was asymptomatic A cells, something in that. It hinted that it was a tumor, a metastatic positive tumor. But he would not go back in because he was afraid he was going to hurt me. Hold on. All right, sorry about that. My son came home, so I had to do a little catch up with him. So I literally spent 2 weeks in the hospital, and they finally came back with doing trying to avoid it, but couldn't avoid it. Ended up having to open my skull to get the tumor that was on my brain to get more tissue for the results. And it came back on the 18th that yes, definitely. It was lung, which the lung likes the brain, so had I not had that symptom of my left side, I would have not known. And it would have been a much worse case scenario. So, very small one on my lung and the one on my brain. Radiation is pretty much the goal for the one on my brain. They're sending out the tissue to do a mapping of it so they can get the DNA of it, basically, to do targeted treatment. From what research I've done so far, there's no cure. But you got somebody who got an attitude and a half, tell me I can't do something, I'm going to fight with every being I got. I'm not caving to this. I got God beside me. I have a huge support system. I have my family. I'm not giving up. I'm not giving up. The cancer doctor I have is pretty amazing. When he feels like he's tapped out of every single resource and there's not a single thing left that he could possibly do. Oh, good. I made a sausage pepper dish yesterday and he's finally eating some and he says delicious. So I will bring up God. It's okay if you don't. I'm not going to force anything onto you. But if you don't, and along the way, good thoughts, positive thoughts, good vibes, I take those too. I'm not picky, but I am definitely walking this journey with God because He ain't ready for me yet. I got too much to do. I got a lot of things I want to do to help people. I am already considered what can I do when I get past this to help others, because this is bigger than just me. I'm definitely not traveling this journey alone. My son has been absolutely a stellar, amazing young man. And let me tell you, talk about blessed. I am beyond blessed with that one. He's my only child, and he's an incredible young man. I had to have a come into Jesus conversation with the husband because he was kind of falling apart and checking out, and he was trying to deal with it too, but he was checking out too far. So we had to do the whole, you're either on board fighting with us or you're going to have to go, because I need a team surrounded by love and support. So if we're going to break, we're going to break together, but we're going to fight together. And he heard me. So that's a bonus. I got three most important men: God, husband, son. The fur babies, oh my gosh, them poor babies. They're feeling it. Let me tell you, they're stuck to me like glue. I lay in bed with one of them, they have to be touching me. I've caught them, even the cat, staring at me, just laying staring at me. I was gone for 2 weeks. I've never been gone for more than 15 hours from them. From, leave to work, stop at the store, and come home. 15 hours, 2 days, 1 weekend. They're feeling it. So if you have fur babies and you're going through something, they feel it with you. People say, oh, they're just pets. No, they feel too. They hurt too. They grieve too. Part of the coming to Jesus conversation I have with my husband is because we have 2 cockatiels. We had 2. He was so struggling that he did not feed them. He did not water them. And one didn't make it. So I came home to one of my birds gone. And anger is very much what happened. I know he feels bad, and I know he was going through a difficult time. But my heart broke a little bit because I rescued him. And so now we had Huey, and Huey's gone. We still have Dewey. Dewey's a toughie. So just so you know that whenever you're doing and dealing and living, they're doing it right next to you. You impact them more than you even know you impact them. You think that they come into your life and it's how they affect you or how you affect them. The connections, you think it's one-sided. They feel you. They feel your love. They grieve with you. I got a wake up call watching them that my cat will just sit there and stare at me now. And I couldn't have them sleep in my bed with me for a week because this whole side of my head has a bunch of staples in it because they had to peel my head back. The hole was supposed to be this big, but I took a picture to see, kind of. Ugh, don't do that. There's just one spot that I took a picture. There's a row of staples. It's gross. So I had to make sure that for a week that they weren't in the bed with me, which was so difficult because one of them is sleeping, if not 2, are in that bed every single time. And so there's my journey up to this point. I have 2 projects I want to show you. It's already 44 minutes in. What I was doing before all this crazy crap happened. And if you're still hanging on, thank you. I made this card, which is reading backwards for some odd reason. It says, just because. I was sitting here one night and just needed some time to do a project. No big deal, no direction, just did it. So wanted to use some of the tools, things in my arsenal that I haven't used in a long time. And so I put little silver beads in the center of these flowers, and it looks like I'm already missing one of them because they're super tiny. So it's such a minute. Oh, missing one right there. I'll have to add one of those in, fix it. But like Mira with the little baby flowers. So there's that card. Everybody keeps saying that you can't heat emboss cheap vellum. Well, guess what? I meant to do it reverse the other way, but it didn't happen that way because I oopsed. I have a trouble with the deboss and the emboss. I seem to trying to get a hold of my markers down here because this was the plan for doing the vellum, was to grab a marker. Oh, it's a mint green, it's a pretty color. But on the back side where you can heat emboss, where it has the heat emboss, and this side is the flat vellum side. So you flip over and add alcohol marker, whatever you want to color the back side with it, and get some color popping through the parts that don't have embossing powder on it. And you can do so many things. You can do it with ink too. That is a very soft color. So I picked the wrong color. Because you can't see it, you need a darker color. Oh, let's see. Let me go for my bag of markers. They're down here. Let's try a darker color. See if this, because I can see it, but when I hold it up, it's not very dark. You can just hit the raised up spots, and it would be a super pretty top card top to where it shows through on the other side. Super pretty. So you could do it. Kind of bled a lot though. Guess you could do it a little neater, huh? Not so messy. But it could make a very pretty card front and just add a simple greeting to it. That would be super pretty, and you could put like in the centers of the flowers, you could put little pearls or something on them. That would be pretty. So I kept seeing people say, oh, you can't heat emboss cheap vellum. Well, guess who did? Yep, we cheap, so. You on the cheap train with me? We do cheap. This is Temu Vellum. One of the projects that I am definitely doing in the future is taking pretty vellum that has pattern or whatever on it and cutting them with the dies and making flowers with them. I've seen somebody do that, so that's one of the like the 15 things on my list that I want to do, because everyone who helped me while I was in the hospital, I want to make them a card and possibly give them a gift pack, because I had a nurse and a nurse aide 12 hours a day. They took care of me for 12 hours a day in shifts. Worked their butt off. So I want to do a gift set for a small gift set for each of them so that they'll have a few cards in their arsenal for coworkers or whatever, because they work 12-hour shifts. Some of them work 4 or 5 days a week. So it gives them something that they don't have to worry about going to the store for. So my goal over the next, I don't know how long it's going to take me, but I was there 2 weeks. I got to do something for them. They were incredible to me, extremely kind. Plus the surgeons, the lung specialist, his team. I mean, like, there's so many people. So at a minimum, I'm going to pull from my stash of things that I already had made, because I got a whole collapsible container chock full of cards. So I want to make gift packs with all of those. So those are going all to all of them. Unless I think they're subpar, then I probably won't. I don't know yet. But they're going to get used. I've been making cards for like almost a year now. Those are all going to every single one of them people who were my angels and heroes in the last 2 weeks. And in the process, I want to do all the techniques that I haven't touched yet. New ones that I come along, because now I'm looking at paste with stencils. Might dabble in that too. I don't know yet. But it looks interesting. I need to do one of the techniques is reverse embossing. I have to do that. I keep seeing it, but I have yet to do it. I want to do that. So I've got like my brain was on overdrive, so I just dumped everything into my notepad in my phone to write down every single thing I wanted to make. So along the way, I'm adding it. And then when I do it, I'll remove it from the list. One thing I did learn to do, because I'm cheap, and when you buy stuff from Temu, because I don't even want to hear if you got something to say negative about Temu, I'm not listening. I don't make a lot of money. I'm not fortunate to be able to spend $30 on something, one item. What it is, it's an investment item that I can use every single time I craft. I can't afford to spend $30 on a die. It's not going to happen. You're on that cheap chain with me? Welcome aboard. Doot, doot. This mica powder is messy. They say, oh, just hit it with some water, mist it with water. Yeah, I've tried that. I've made sprays with them. They rub off. It's just been a thing that I've been trying to conquer. And guess who's conquered it? Yeah, I did. Guess who helped me conquer it? Sure did. Mod Podge did. The dishwasher one. And my spray bottle. I literally took some Mod Podge, put it on this tray, took a little bit powder out, sprayed some water to thin down the Mod Podge a little bit, depending on the what you want to do with it, the thickness of it. If you want it to be splatter, you thin it down pretty good. If you want it to be thick like a paste, don't put as much water in it. That's what all of these are. This was probably, I think I did this like a month ago. I literally took one of these little makeup things from Dollar Tree, threw a stencil on here, and just went over the stencil with the mixture. It's dry, the mica powder is trapped, and you get the pearly, beautiful pattern. Pretty cool, huh? Did it that one. That's another stencil I had. You get the pearlesque, pretty. Depends on what color you use. I have like 12 of them or something like that. Forget how many. Take a stencil. You got a background. You can cut these out, cut these up. Use them on your cards. Did it with that one. Just did 3 different colors on this one. This I did. They keep calling it smush. I did a smush. I did it like a stampy blob. You can do whatever technique, whatever you feel like doing. I did the swipe, just stroked it across. You can get raised areas if it's thick. I didn't care. I was playing. And I can cut this up and use this with dies. I did a swipe in different directions to get different colors from just 3 basic colors. There's another smush. There's a swirly. I was swiping this thing and swiping. You have options. You can do whatever you want. And there's other powders that I have that are the more pearl color. They're the whites, softer colors. So I did, this is going to be stained glass because I'm going to try this. This is ink blending. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover this. This is the watercolor paper from Temu. This is the ink blending, and this is watercolors. So my plan is to take clear embossing powder because I need to get more, because the one I have is not going to cover both. Don't think that's enough to cover both sheets, so I have to get more. That'll be my retail therapy. Hobby lobby. And I'm going to coat those, and I want it to look like stained glass. Probably going to happen. Probably going to work. That's the medium that I'm I'm looking at. There was another technique, Jean, one of my besties. She's an amazing woman. You'll see her comments throughout my videos. I have yet to meet her. I can't wait one day to meet her. But she's become an extremely important part in my life. I don't think she realizes how special she is. But she had seen this technique, and it's an old technique. I've never seen it before. And it was, you were using the embossing powder, I think. My brain was kind of a little on the mushy side, so I may have used the wrong medium. But in the meantime, this was part of one of the things that I was looking at, and I just started playing. I came in for therapy. This is my therapy. I came in here and I was like, let me go dig through my stuff and see what I got and see if I can code it. Like, you're fussy cutting, you're stacking, gluing them together, and then you're, I guess, embossing powder, clear embossing powder. The problem is you can't reheat embossing powder, and that's what I was doing. So I was failing when I started, but I still like how they came out. I don't know if it's going to be a long-term thing. They may not hold up, but I'm certainly going to use them until they fall apart. And then I have to research. I have to watch that video she showed me. She sent me and really look at it to see if I even did it right. Because it's a wing it. I wing it. But I had some stickers that had the shiny stickers. And so I basically took a butterfly, cut it out, put some embellishments on it after coating it with clear embossing powder, and then made a bead. I've learned, I went looking to see what lung cancer color is, and it's white. So we made a white bead. I have had family deal with breast cancer, and so I did a pink one and took hydrangea, because hydrangea is one of my favorite flowers. I put a butterfly on it and did the clear embossing over it. So I had to do a pink one. Tag, I had a tag, and I love teal blues, so I made a bead for that one. One of my Temu stickers, I made one of those. Another one of these, one of those sets I got from Temu. Just layered it up, and then coated it with embossing powder, clear embossing powder, and I'm gonna hang these all from my planner. And then this might offend you. Oh, then I found a charm in my stash that said love, and then I made a dangle to go on it. For some reason it's not sitting right, which is okay. I don't care. I'm not looking for perfection. I'm looking for toys to add to my, personalize it. And then I also check to see what's what color represents every cancer, and purple is the one. So I made with the charm says hope, and made a dangle with it. They're all on book rings, which is completely okay with me because I did not want to sit there. I hate jump rings. They hurt my fingers. They hurt my hands. I get annoyed and I lose interest. So I decided I'm just going to hang them from the rings of my planner. If this offends you, sorry, but it doesn't offend me. But I made this. I am making decals with my Cricut too. I just haven't gotten there yet. I have a bunch of people who want to stick them on their cars already. So yes, I will be. That was just I don't have the correct bow for die cuts, and I haven't been on Cricut yet to do my thing and make it yet. So, but this is just the foam with the sticky back. I used some of my letters and then just grabbed one of the bows, but you get the point. And then I just covered it in Mod Podge. So this is all of these are going to end up on my planner, which is so important because I already screwed up. I already got the wrong doctors for the wrong days. So thank God I looked and then made sure it was right on the board for the boys. So here it is now, an hour in. Maybe I should do this next project separately. Kind of an hour in. You guys listen to me for an hour. You're my heroes too. I think what I need to do is upload this one and then show you my project, because that was a lot. So sorry you was looking for the other one. Apparently I can't talk and craft at the same time. Shocker. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to upload this so it's already long enough. Thank you. Appreciate you. If you want to continue the journey with me, I'd appreciate it. I'm crafting all along the way. I'm not quitting. And my humor hasn't changed. No eggshells. Straightforward. If you come in here to be a jerk, no one's got time for that. Keyboard warriors not allowed. You can't say it to my face. Don't post it in the comments. Because that's how I am. If I can't say it to your face, I'm not typing it. So if you're going to bring it, you're going to get deleted and blocked. Because ain't no one got time for that. If you're in for the ride and you haven't subscribed yet, hit the sub. If you like the fact that I'm not fake, that I'm real, and you're going to get all of me. And if you don't like me, that's cool. Some days I don't like me either. You don't have to like everybody. There's no rules that says you have to like everybody. If you're not interested, I'm completely okay with that. If you just wanted to hear, because I've done it where I want to hear what someone's life journey is, what struggles they're dealing with, and how they're handling it. So if that's the only reason why you came, cool. I don't mind. Not a biggie. You don't owe me anything. I don't owe you anything. So cool. But if you want to stick around and watch me fight, me craft, have fun, and have an adventure along the way, then I'm the crazy one you want to follow. All right. Thank you. And I will get this other one done so you can watch my little trick that I have not tested and researched. But we're going to do it anyway. All right. Thanks. Bye.